to another episode of Rainbows.
Rainbows and
Yeah!
I think we were expecting the ghost to do
to come in.
finish
No,
it
I don't
first.
think so. I
No.
think we have a
No.
whole different conversation now in terms of like the ghost coming in and not. But anyway,
So many.
we had a we're not suspicious people, but we had a visit from a ghost during sound check.
Yeah, fully. Someone from the other side was
So-
trying to do the podcast, so we've got an unofficial third host.
Yes, it's like don't leave me behind.
Are you gonna die in 7 days?
What?
It was honestly, it sounded like that. And that's what it sounded like. It sounded demonic.
so
It sounded straight up demonic. But yeah,
you're certainly here with your
survive.
your African conspiracy theory.
No, and I'm the president of guys.
African conspiracy theories.
and how are you? How are
I'm
you
good. I'm good. I'm good. I'm stressed out. The world's a mess.
doing? Amen. The world is on fire. The world is on fire.
The world is on fire. The world is on fire. The world is on fire. Yes.
Hey,
basically-
dance through the pain, dance through the pain, dance through the pain, dance through the can't do this. I'm tired. Send help. Oh wow, guys.
Me tired though. I'm tired. I'm so
Yeah,
tired of being black in Europe. I'm tired of being black in the world. Like
Amen.
I'm just at a point where I'm just like, I don't even know what it is that we're doing here.
It's
Like,
very understandable. Which is
Ugh.
the most understandable thing. Like it's exhausting. It's exhausting. And that's what this episode is about. About just how exhausting it is to be alive
Yeah.
in the world right now.
I mean, I would love to be the person who's giving the energy, and I'm usually am pumping people up, motivating people.
Like
but
literally, you are. Because you called me this morning and you were talking, and I'm just like,
I try to always stay positive, you know. Although some people think I complain. I won't lie, I'm a complainer, but I'm also a
Yeah.
very positive person, and I try to always look on the other side.
Yeah.
But this time I couldn't. Like, I think for me, my week started on Sunday.
Yeah.
Okay. Because Sunday, the whole news of like black people being stuck at the border and not being let in. And then I got a panic attack because I'm like, I'm in Norway, you know, like we share a border with Russia. What if something were to happen, hypothetically,
Yeah.
and Russia invades us, and then
Yeah.
I'm one of those black people who are going to be suffering the same fate, right? Because it's their citizens, and we know it's not a citizen issue, it's a racial issue.
Absolutely.
So me and like my panic, I'm like, so I'm speaking to some of my white friends, and they're like, oh no, it's never going to happen. We have a connection with NATO. And I was like, okay, fine. You know, the NATO troops will come in. I mean, Norway is one of the countries that pumps the most money into NATO anyway,
Yes.
right?
Yeah.
Come Tuesday, Norway decides that they want to actually sponsor weapons to Ukraine to fight Russia.
Okay. Yeah.
I am like, guys, we share a northern border with Russia. And it's been like a very unstable border for a very long time. Like it's not the best relationship that we have with Russia in the north. And then all of a sudden, you guys are saying to Russia, fuck you, we're going to support Ukraine with weaponry. And somebody's like, oh
But
no, but NATO is gonna come in. I'm like, guys,
wait,
Putin is playing
where's NATO,
buttons.
guys? Wait.
Udlala ngama-button.
What?
Putin has buttons. He's got a Game Boy, PlayStation.
I love
He's
and
gonna
hate.
press a button.
I love and hate that you literally compared a Nokia button to a PS5. Hallelujah. World
Because
ending.
that's what it is. It's a fucking game to these people, right? People's
Oh, it's
lives
always
are
a
a fucking game. So he has
Especially
like
Black
a fucking
lives.
Game Boy, a PS for the newer generation, or a freaking Xbox that he just pressed the on button and like different buttons on this keyboard, and it's all over for us.
And you can
So-
just tell that he's itching to
I
push the button.
know.
Like he
He's-
wants to flip everything up happily. And
It's
yeah, you're
white males who are losing power become violent.
let's talk about it. Let's talk about it because I didn't want to reach, but I did my stretches this morning.
I have not
So-
done it.
So I did some yoga this morning. So let's reach. We saw it 2020 with America
Trump.
and
Mm.
Trump and the Capitol, the siege of
Mhm.
the Capitol, of the greatest democracy on earth.
Mm.
By the people that democracy was created
Mm.
for. So you had, predominantly straight white men attacking the capital of the country that only protects them. So it's a natural progression of that. It's natural to say that it's because white male supremacy is shaking
Mm.
and they're not happy with it. And even then, it's not shaking. Even then, it's only shaking. It hasn't been destroyed like Yemen, hasn't been bombed like Syria,
Mm.
hasn't been absolutely desecrated with hunger, like any of the countries that Russia in itself has absolutely terrorized,
Including
So-
African countries.
including African countries. And mind you,
Which is the myth now that's going around that Russia has never done anything to Africa. So I just want to debunk that as fake news. A lot of Africans are saying, "Oh no, but Russia
Yeah.
has never colonized us." Blah blah. But anyway,
And to be fair, Mnangagwa, the current, absolute totalitarian that's running Zimbabwe now, he trained with Putin back in the day. So African countries, they also have this kind of they have a loyalty to communism that hasn't really been reciprocated. So when they see Russia and China, not China so much now because, the new imperialism on the African continent, but when they see a Russia, they think, oh, communists helped us, through liberation movements on the African continent, be it South Africa and whatnot. So I feel like there's just an over familiarity there that maybe Putin doesn't share with us. Putin doesn't see us as Africans, guys. He doesn't respect us.
No.
And he will happily say, yeah, rah, against the West in order to get Black African bodies to fight for his cause. But you're just going to die for his cause. And the war is going to end in however many years.
And then we're going to
move
be
on.
back to square one.
Literally.
Because he's going to have now the world domination power that he's looking for, which is trying to
There we
take
go.
over the West, like that same Western power. And this is why he's in bed with China. So for me, it's just whew, it's a lot,
It's
guys.
a lot.
It's a lot. And
It's a lot. And it's because we're literally on the brink of nuclear collapse. And everyone still has the energy to be racist. And
listen,
that is
racism
why
doesn't sleep.
no, it doesn't sleep.
Racism doesn't have a day off.
sleep. Like racism,
It's a capitalist.
You
Racism
think-
is a capitalist.
you think the devil works hard, racism works harder. Racism is
This
out
is
here
so
like
true.
Chris Jenner,
Yes,
getting sponsorships built. Racism is out here building empire after empire.
if we were to
no.
compare the devil and racism, the devil gets merit.
The devil's a fan. Like the day was
Listen,
like, I could never, darling.
I could exactly. I
I
could never,
could
darling.
never.
I like that voice.
I could never, darling.
Oh my god!
Racism,
And
queen, love her, love her. Absolute distractor. Oh God, destroyer of worlds, love her. No, but like, and in that point, it's so exhausting to be a black person right now because we don't like. I don't agree with what Putin's doing. Of course, I don't agree. Like Ukraine should be able to fight for itself, but in the mishmash of that is like how the Western media is portraying Ukraine, this white country, middle class. It's not like Yemen or Afghanistan or Iraq or all those countries that are meant to be bombed. So on top, and then on top of that, within Ukraine, you get African students who are being abandoned when they're trying to get out of a country that's on the brink that's not even on the brink of war, a country at war. So as a black person, as a black woman in the world right now, I'm
I
tired.
want to add a little bit of more depressing news. One of the reasons I'm so tired. So I'm in contact with someone who is in Hungary. She's a South
Yeah.
African. And her and a small team, have been helping people get black people get housing, food, and shelter. Um, and she sounded so exhausted yesterday. She's like, she's exhausted. She's emotional. She's like, how is this even possible?
Yeah.
In the midst of it, she told me that two black women were shot at the border, Ghanaian, or for lack of not pronouncing it right, while trying to actually cross over to Poland.
Yeah.
And so people, the group of people who came and arrived to her, told her that one of them witnessed it. And so I spent
Well,
yesterday trying to help and trying to get the story out. But I'm also getting a lot of resistance in like contacting a lot of my journalist sources. And it's just like, oh yeah, but the bosses, or yeah, but we're gonna need to fact check that. What are you fact checking? What are we fact checking? You're telling me the police, that the border control police in Poland are going to confirm and say, yes, we concur, we shot two black women? Like, is that how the world works? Unless we have it on
it
tape,
does. That's
it doesn't
literally
exist,
that's
right?
literally how the world works.
And I'm like, we went from just not letting people in, from when they talk about women with children, there's a black woman who had an infant who wasn't let in.
No, but that's also the issue. Families, children are being like turned away from the border for white people to get
Mm.
out. So they're trapping like families and students. Like these are as innocent a population you can get. And even we won't even go into who's considered innocent and who isn't,
Mm,
because
mm,
that's
mm.
also a big part of this, a big part of the racial element of all this, that even when it's a white country fighting another white country, somehow black people are always the ones that still pay in a sense. And
Because racism will always find its way in. Yeah, the only way we can define this is that racism is worse than the devil. Because even
yeah,
during a fucking war, they still have time.
and I want to speak to that because I feel like the microcosm of what's happening to black people in Ukraine and the entire macro situation of Russia trying to take over what is essentially a Europeanized country
Mm, mm, mm.
is that what the foundation of the like what racism is the foundation of, and that's that white supremacist like imperialism, that sense that us as a master race has the right to take over the weaker countries, the browner, blacker countries. I, as Vladimir Putin, have a right to conquer because that is what I grew up with. That is the world that I know. And the thing is about Vladimir and what he did, especially when it comes to Trump, especially when it comes to absolutely using this crumbling of the West with the US and Trump and the UK and Brexit. It's using the crumbling of these superpowers, these power democracies, to show the world that, look, those democracies are doing the same thing that I'm doing, and we've been all doing it for decades. So who are they to tell me what to do? Who is Biden telling me what to do? That's why Putin always has comments for the US anytime they try and tell him anything, because he'll be like, okay, you can come tell me about, me and my LGBTQ rights, but what about Black people being shot in the streets of America? Maybe you guys should worry about your own shit. Maybe you should worry about your own white supremacy, because the thing is, he's playing the game that they're all playing. He's just not trying to cover it with the veneer of, diplomacy, NATO, democracy, because, America's always pushing democracies, literally going
and Europe
into countries.
and Europe.
And Europe, going into America and Europe, thank you. America and Europe is going into countries, is killing off Pan-Africanist leaders, is killing off communist leaders to put in their own Western-backed democratic
dictators.
Leaders. And you call that democracy? So that's why everyone relying on NATO, all these 30 countries banding together that have not really shot up. Everyone's talking now because no one wants to go to war. But Vladimir Putin's at war. So
exactly. And so for me, also the NATO, it's like there are certain African countries. I think we're part of NATO as well, South Africans.
I have no idea.
I think there was this conversation that we had to join NATO or something. But if we are, then for me,
no, we're not a part of NATO.
We're not a part of NATO.
Because the thing is, we're part of BRICS, which is Brazil, Russia, India, China, South Africa.
I'm sorry. South Africa ain't gonna do shit.
Because we're literally the guy tacked on in the end who's just like, hey guys, just happy to be here. Just super stoked to be here with the big dogs. Thanks for inviting me.
I don't mean to laugh, but honestly,
no, and that's why Russia is just South Africa, Putin was just y'all can calm down. We have a relationship. You don't want to start nothing.
But didn't they yesterday cut off RT?
Cut off who?
What? So DSTV, multi-choice, which is cable TV in South Africa, cut off Russian Today yesterday.
Really? Yeah. That is so weak.
And South Africans went onto Twitter to be like, we want to know. But RT is also propaganda, but it is a weak move.
Yes, absolutely.
I was just thinking to myself, you're cutting off RT. That's your best bet, instead of you flying out fucking students out of Ukraine.
Literally, get our people out
hungry,
of Ukraine. And also, RT was propaganda before Vladimir Putin went to Ukraine. We've always known it's propaganda.
Darling. So why?
So what now? What changed? Oh, white people are in danger.
Oh, because there's no internet past this DSTV.
What do you mean? There's no internet.
You cut RT. It's not the only source of
media
that you can find.
That's true. And even then, even then, multi-choice, you don't even speak to the majority of South Africans who can access.
And those who don't watch Russia Today.
Nope. There you go. I don't have a DSTV package to watch Russia Today. Okay. I don't have it for sports.
Listen,
maybe for the James Bond channel.
Nobody's gonna put RT on DSTV. Are you serious?
We're here for Great British Bake Off. We're here for the 8 o'clock movie on Sundays. Come dine with me. If you have DSTV, you know what you're about. You know what you're about in this.
You compile it according to news, and who watches Russia Today?
Not a soul. Not a soul.
So yeah, and all the news that we need to get, we can get from SABC, and it's propaganda. But anyway,
yeah, that. Let's speak about that. Because also, we have to deal with white supremacy and then our own propaganda machine here at home, and it's all a mess. It's all a mess. So fun times.
Maybe we hope to work for SABC one day, but fuck it, because nobody wants to talk about it.
I don't. I personally, I worked for SABC and I never got paid. So I personally have
I worked for SABC through a production company who didn't pay me at some point.
You see, so that's why I'm I feel like every artist in this country has that story as well of the SABC. and there's no loyalty. And even then, I lost respect for the SABC long time ago. But then they sold all our archive to the Japanese when we should be in an age of digitizing our archive and having it, because my mom was like a continuity presenter back in the 90s. So I wanted those videos because, mementos to show to grandchildren and whatnot. And now we don't own any of our stuff. I mean, that's the story of South Africa, but it's still heartbreaking.
I mean, like, I feel like the SABC within itself, even if, like, it can't even be objective journalism when it comes to news, because it's government propaganda. And then you ask yourself, like, why are you here? Like, basically, its job is to fuel government propaganda instead of being a national broadcaster that accommodates and also is objective in its reporting. But it's not. It just becomes propaganda. People aren't getting paid. People need to leave their jobs. People are getting overpaid.
Yep.
I know people who are getting overpaid
just for being there, being in the right place at the right time.
SABC is our national broadcaster, for those of you who don't know. And it's South Africa's national broadcaster. It really does not mean much, I think, because yeah, that's the story of another day. So the exhaustion is there, and I'm just tired, and it's winter. We just come out of COVID, and our puppy just died yesterday.
Oh no, I'm sorry.
Thank you. It had cat flu. So there's cat flu. You see, cats actually do kill dogs.
That's wow. Please do not drag us into the cat versus dog debate. I don't have it in me. I mean, I'm Switzerland. I'm Switzerland. Okay. When it comes to the cat versus dog debate,
listen.
I don't want to be involved. Thank you.
Let me tell you my dog history. My dog history is that I do not. All my life, I have not liked dogs. I think at some points in my life, I found a stray dog and I brought it home. And I asked my mom if we could keep it. And she's like, you can only keep it for like a week. And it ran away. Like, because my parents were like, not didn't run away. I think it just went home. It was like living la vida loca. And then it decided, I'm going to go home now.
That's such cat like behavior, though.
So what are you feeling exhausted about?
God, everything is such an easy answer. Personally, I've always been exhausted, if I'm going to be completely honest, because I'm a bleeding heart. The world affects me a lot more than I would like it to. So on top of just the personal things that exhaust me, so like family stuff, trying to figure out how someone like me with ADHD, depression, and anxiety is supposed to survive in a world like this. Just kind of the day-to-day exhaustion of not feeling like I'm quite doing enough, but also realizing that that's also one of those self-limiting beliefs that capitalism likes to sell us, that we're not doing enough, we're not being enough. It's that, and then it's just the compounded added things, because it's March now, so we're in 2 years of this panorama, this parallelogram that we are in. So
it's not even a pandemic, because it's just multitudes of shit.
You see, so it's pandemic, and it's what. So I feel like it's literally everything. And lately, we've just been losing so many people, and to people taking their own lives, and it's also just put me in a new kind of exhaustion of the people just don't want to be here anymore. And like on a lot of days, I'm one of those people, and I honestly feel like a privileged little twat even saying that, because I people out there are living a life I could not even imagine. I am privileged. Like, I am a privileged few, and I am still so fucking exhausted. So, and even then, I wonder if I have the right to. And it's a lot because I don't want anyone to feel exhausted. It's not that I don't want to be exhausted anymore. I don't want anyone to be exhausted by the system. But
Mm-hmm.
I can't take that on because I have to figure me out. So yeah.
Yeah, I think also the conversation of suicide and depression is not being had. Like, I was having a conversation with a friend of mine yesterday, and I was like, we can talk about all these hypotheticals and what war going on right now and whatnot. But what we're also missing is the mental health aspect,
Amen.
because nobody is talking about, or not nobody, there's, I feel like there's not enough conversation about what the last 2 years has done to us.
Mm-mm.
Um, being in the world as a Black person, being a
Mm-hmm.
woman who's Black
Mm.
in the world, plus the dynamics of the world that's happening. And then you're just supposed to function normally because
Literally.
white supremacy just requires you. It's just like white supremacy is like some madam with no claim to anything who just walks in the
Yeah.
room and just expects Anna to function in her
Like
kitchen. Whether she's just
literally,
given
like
birth or nothing, just like Anna.
can I even speak to that? And I'm gonna use a show. Have you seen White Lotus?
No, I haven't.
So you don't have to. Yeah, you don't have to.
Not that
Literally,
interesting.
first episode. It's whites, neuroses, rich people, poor people, classism, pretty place. There's a bunch of them out there. But basically, first episode. This is a resort in Hawaii, which also has its like obviously as indigenous Hawaiians have their own fight with white supremacy, specifically with Mark Zuckerberg, who's a new age imperialist wanting to like push Hawaiians off their land. But basically with White Lotus, it's all these Hawaiians, Native Hawaiians working for white people because it's white people predominantly that come to these kinds of resorts. And first episode, there was literally this Hawaiian woman who was pregnant and giving birth. Like she was in labor, but it was her first day on the job. And she like couldn't say anything and she was just kind of passing it off like, oh, I'm just tired, whatnot. But like literally having contractions and to the point where I think the climax of the episode is that she had her baby and then we never even speak about her again. We never talk about her. Like, we just never see what happened to her, what happened to the baby. Are they fine? She's went up to have her baby, and we carry on with white neuroses. So when you mention the white madam, I'm just like, yeah, yeah, because we didn't even have the time in these past 2 years to really grieve all the people that we lost, all you know, and people down as people, opportunities, lives, like the the world that we knew it, the world the way we knew it, and even then the world wasn't perfect, but it's still such a dramatic, like violent, life costing shift that no one really got to sit with, and then suddenly we're plunged into the next thing,
Mm.
and you're just like, where is the pause button? Please, God, Jesus, or whomever's in charge. Where?
Yeah, because sometimes I doubt whoever's in charge. And look, I believe in God. I believe there's a higher power. But I feel like the higher power when it comes to Black people has just parked in a corner.
Let's talk about it.
And
Please,
I'm
can we
just
talk
like,
about
we want
it?
to, I pray, fine, and I believe in God, but I feel like our higher power comes at only just witchcraft and loying each other. That's only the only time our higher power works.
And that is
And then when
so
people say,
sad.
oh, like, I don't mean to be a pessimist, and I really do believe, um, but I also do believe that God gave me a brain to question. And
Yeah.
so in my questioning, I'm just like, where is God when we are 100, 400 plus years in a
Yeah, good
slavery?
500. Yeah.
right? Where
That's a good
where is
question.
the person who's going to come and save us? Oh, Jesus Christ. Like, when
Do
is
you
Jesus coming back to save us? Because clearly our Savior is looming somewhere, and somehow white people are birthed and dying and having the time of their lives. And I'm not
you
even believing in the same God that we.
no. There's there's a saying that I like. Your religion is organized, your God is not.
Yes, exactly.
So for me, I believe in a higher power,
Mm,
but I don't subscribe to organized religion because as
same.
much as I believe that it's a very beautiful way to connect with spirituality and your beliefs, and
On
everyone
community.
has the right. And you know, in community, it's a beautiful thing, but predominantly what it's being used for is to control people.
Mm, mm,
Because it's so easy to control people at the foundation of how they understand their lives to be. And
mm,
if you control people with the creator, the being they believed created literally everything, if you control them at that aspect, then you have them for life. And we've seen it, especially as Africans, Christian
mm,
Africans. Yay, guys. So for me, I don't really believe in the organized religion part of it, but I know that there's a higher power to it because I just feel like it's that God in all of us. That's how I feel like we connect
yeah.
to our higher power. We all understand we're part of this bigger, picture. We're all connected in a sense. And I feel like it is understanding and connecting to the God within all of us that
Mm,
allows us to today even know what a higher power wants. And a higher
mm,
power, their want is not going to be down to 10, a 10 like point document. It's not 10 commandments. It's
mm,
not this or that. Like it is within all of us to find out like what it means to live out in our greatest power, to live out
mm,
the God in each of us. And I personally don't believe anyone like priest or
mm.
Buddha, whatever, they can
Especially
give
to the
you.
divine power of God. I
You
don't believe
know,
that. I don't believe that.
we're all connected. We're
And
all
also, if
connected.
if if Christianity says we're all made in the image of God, why
Literally. It's
exactly did God say, like, so? Then there's hierarchies in there.
see. And can you see that's where the man made aspect comes and ruins something so pure and beautiful? Because you're imposing man made hierarchies into something that has no
Mm,
hierarchies at all. I don't have to go to someone to connect to my God personally. That's what I believe. And I feel like every single religion or spirituality understands that it is a personal relationship. So when you have like the Roman Catholic Church or whatever,
all
like
your
these.
fake prophets that are in the corner, I'm sorry, but your Bashiris and alike. I heard a
Oh,
conversation amongst other foreign Africans in South Africa saying you cannot struggle as a foreigner in South Africa, or a black foreigner. All you have to
yeah.
do is open a church. South Africans are gullible.
To be fair, the mega church business is making money. And I don't even think, like, because it's true, they're right. Like, with the Bashiris, like, they're absolutely right. South Africans are a lot more gullible than they need to be, especially considering what they've gone through. But it is a worldwide phenomenon. And I tell you now, the moment I stop giving a bleep about my fellow man, I'm starting a mega church because that is the easiest way to, like I said, manipulate people who are fearful, who don't have much. And if your entire belief system resides with this dude in the sky, and this dude is telling you, okay,
White
the way
beard
that you
and
get to access
tears.
a white dude in the sky, mind you. Oldest church in the world is in the African continent, but that's another episode on its own. Um, it's that's why I'm also like black people. When we tagata and we manipulate and we take and exploit each other, it's not to say yeah, this is it justifies like what happens to us. It's just I would like black people to sit back and be like, why are we so easy to take all our pain and our trauma and our vitriol out on each other? Like why are we not stepping back and being like, if I'm going to do this, why am I doing it to someone who looks like me? Does that not speak to the absolute efficiency of anti-blackness, even on the blackest continent in the world? Like what does that say about us as Africans?
It just says that colonization did a number on us.
Yo, like
A
if this
big number.
like if this thing wasn't literally ruining my life and the lives of people around me, I'd be impressed. Because one thing about colonization and whiteness and all that is that it can exist in spaces without colonizers, without white people, without, you know,
Exactly.
the misogyny, all the bigotry can
Patriarchy, the
exist.
bigotry, the
You know, patriarchy can exist in a room full of
feminism.
women without a man present. You know? Oh no, sissy. No, whoa, we're just starting out. Whoa, whoa. Whoa. We'll get there. We'll get there.
I
Well,
wasn't getting there. I
will
was just
get
throwing
there.
shade. I was just
Now
throwing
you're like
shade.
Vladimir, just dropping bombs.
Bam!
Just
Bam!
dropping
Bam!